Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my Quarterback Road to Glory series, where today we will be pushing out to the playoffs. As we get into our first game of the day, we start off up 7-0 from a defensive touchdown, and we're scrambling. We find Gio Saria for another touchdown, blowing this game wide open. As you can see, second and goal here, we find another route to the touchdown, this time with our legs. And we end up winning this game pretty handedly. We go 14 of 26 for 276 yards, 4 total touchdowns. And we end up with a scholarship from Fresno State as a result. We get offers from Washington, USC, and Stanford, ultimately deciding to go with Stanford as we get into game 2 of the day against Corona, who is 4-0. Third and goal. I'm looking at the play, deciding, all of a sudden, look at that. I see our running back wide open with tons of space in front of him for an easy score, going up 7-0. Corona scores right back, and I'm scrambling, I break out, and I end up fumbling the ball. They end up taking advantage of that, scoring another touchdown, but I go right back and I find Alex Howell on a 36-yard touchdown. Later in the game, we're up by 14. I find the end zone with my legs and break the game wide open as we win that game as well, with over 100 rushing yards, 5 total touchdowns, becoming a 3-star recruit. We get offers from Arizona and UCLA for scholarships. And we also get offered Hawaii, Colorado State, and Cal Berkeley. Ultimately, I decide to go with Colorado State. Don't know why, but as we get into game 3, we start off the same way that we always do, getting sacked. Not once, but twice at the very beginning of the game, and we're in for quite a game as I go and I find Ostrander on the outside, and he has blocking in front of him. We take a 7-0 lead. Once again, finding the receiver on the outside. Guess who that is? That's Weisbecker for another touchdown. And it just was really easy after that. They didn't really score much. We end up with over 300 yards. We didn't complete that much passes. It was really rough. They applied a lot of pressure, but we got a variety of scholarships. Colorado, Virginia Tech, Stanford, and Colorado State all want us at quarterback. Washington State, Washington, and Oregon also offer us looks, and we end up going for Washington State as we fight against Laguna Hills 0-6, and we find Gio Saria again for a touchdown. They got up real big at the beginning, taking advantage of our mistakes. But you know us, we don't go down very easily as we find Gio Saria once again for a big touchdown, and from then it was all us, baby. 14 of 29 for 266, 3 touchdowns, 66 rushing yards. Not our best game. We kept getting sacked, but, a win's a win at the end of the day, and points are points. And as a result, Washington State wants to offer us a scholarship at quarterback. We also get looked at by big-name schools, Utah, Oregon, and USC. Ultimately, we decide to go with Oregon to replace Bo Nix, possibly. And we get into our next game against Diamond Bar. And immediately, I make a mistake. They go up real quick, 14-0, but I'm not going down with that fight as I find Saria for a 28-yard catch, and then I find Chris Hussein for a touchdown, followed by a touchdown with my own legs, and then another touchdown with my own legs. They went up 14-0, and we turned it around, and guess what? They didn't score again, as we go and we take this win 31-14. We went 11 of 23 for 254, 4 total touchdowns. Again, not our best game, but Oregon wants us at quarterback as a result. And we get looked at by Washington, Utah, and USC again. Ultimately, I go with Washington. Don't want to go with the big schools. And I really want to have our best opportunity to play college football and get opportunities. As you see there, we get sacked immediately, but we find Tien Nguyen, followed by all the way on the out route finding Weisbecker, and then guess what? we find our guy, Giosario, down the right side of the field for the touchdown, 26 yards to go up 7-0. Following that, we break out of a sack. We scramble, we run all the way up the middle of the field for a 9-yard touchdown to go up. And guess what? In Vetrano fashion, I throw an interception, and not just any interception. I'm trying to chase him down, but our own lineman blocks me, and we throw a pick 6. So now we're only up 7. As I go, and I immediately find Alex Howell down the middle of the field to break this game open. But they go and they score right back as I'm about to be sacked, and guess what? Howell runs up the side of the field by himself for a touchdown, bringing us up 2 scores. Ultimately, I end up with 277 passing yards, 65 rushing yards, 4 total touchdowns, and we end up winning by 7, ultimately resulting us in becoming a 4-star recruit. Washington now wants us at quarterback, and we get offers from Berkeley, Missouri, and Texas Tech. Ultimately, I decide to go with Missouri as our first SEC team, I believe, just to give us a large variety. And look at that, we're going into the playoffs against Santa Rosa High School at 7-2. In the next episode, we will be starting those playoffs and looking at our journey on our way to becoming a state champion and hopefully #1 recruit.